There are a few habits that I have in my life that, even though they are simple, quite easy to start and to keep, they have made a huge impact in my life, especially to my mental health. The first one is to mute your phone. This is something that I have started to do now in the past couple of years. So whenever I'm doing something that I want to have the focus there and be present, whether it's working or watching a movie, being with friends, being out here in nature, for example, I put my phone either on silent or on this do not disturb mode, or then completely on airplane mode, so I don't even have the Wi-Fi. I have to be fully present there, whatever I'm doing. And why this is so massive is because it lets you focus on whatever you're doing now. Many times when we are supposed to focus on something and we get the notification, for example an email from work or a text from a friend, we start to focus on that and we lose the focus from whatever we are doing. And 9 times out of 10, that thing wasn't even that urgent that you needed to receive that information right now. But because you received it, it's impossible to go back and not think about it. It's so much easier to stay present in that moment and focus when you don't even get the thought because you don't get the notification. So very much like the out of sight, out of mind concept here. So this is a habit that I suggest to anybody who gets those uninvited notifications, whether it's emails, text messages, calls, whatever it might be. It's a massive help to regain that control that we many times miss when it comes to these technological devices. And for me at least, it has been a habit that is so simple to create and keep. Basically, many times how I do it is I get the first notification and then I realize, okay, my phone is not on silent, let's put it on silent. And that's how I do it. Many times, of course, these days when it's a strong habit of mine, I already remember to put my phone on that do not disturb mode when I'm starting to, for example, work or when I'm going out to eat. But in case you don't, when you get that first sound, then you remember that, okay, now is the time to put that phone on silent. The second simple but effective habit is taking a walk, kind of like what I'm doing right now here. That's how many times I take my breaks of work. I just go out for a walk. It doesn't even have to be long. It can be just 5 minutes. Many times it is just 5 or 10 minutes. And what makes this so effective during that work time or study time is that you get out of that room, that space, the environment, and you get to somewhere completely else. Many times if I take a break and I'm constantly in the same space, so I'm typing on my keyboard and then I'm sitting in the same chair and just flip out my phone or even look outside, it's not as effective as if I went outside, moved my body a little bit, breathed, stayed present there, and then went back to work. Somehow that focus is just so much better. And this tip is not necessarily about being productive, being always so super effective. This is more about feeling good whatever you are doing, because our mind gets that peace, that rest when we take those breaks and when we get that fresh air. That's what we are meant to do and meant to have as human beings. I think I would go insane if I were in the same space for 24/7. I am most of the time in my home, of course, but still, these walks, these breaks are so important for my mental health and very easy habit to start as well. Many times I don't feel amazing when I go out. I sometimes feel even too restless and stressed. But when I come back home, especially when I'm sitting back to my desk, I feel like, okay, something has really shifted here. And that just lets me to enjoy my life much more, because not every day at work is so amazing, or when you are studying you actually care about the subject so much. But when you let your mind rest in between and give it that peace, somehow it doesn't feel so overwhelming. The third one is to follow the things that interest you right now. I have so many things in my life that I thought that they are very unimportant, and maybe still I think that they are unimportant, but somehow they interest me. Like in that moment, I get super curious about some history of a certain country in a certain time. Just I read an article, for example, and then I'm like, this is super interesting, let's study this. And then for a whole week, I study only that. Or this could be, for example, a hobby, YouTube channel, basically anything. Why I believe it's so important to follow this, even though you would think that they are unimportant or irrelevant to your life situation is because if you deny these interests always from you, just because you don't think that they are important, or don't follow that and just leave it there, even though you feel that spark of curiosity, I feel like you will miss out on a lot of things in life. A lot of knowledge, a lot of curious facts about life. For example, how one of my favorite hobbies, bouldering, started was when a friend of mine just invited me, hey, you wanna come to try? And I had never even thought about that I could like it, but somehow in that moment I was like, why not? I don't have really anything to lose. And the more and more he explained to me how this sport is, the more and more curious I actually got to try it. And then when I did it, I was like, this is the best thing ever. It doesn't even matter if that curiosity or interest will fade away in a week, because in my opinion, this is what life is all about. It's about experimenting new things. It's about getting new experiences and learning new things. If you are studying about the anatomy of a penguin, it doesn't mean that you need to become a biologist. You can just study just for fun. So whatever is the thing in your life right now that makes you feel curious or interested or passionate, or whatever it might be in the future, just follow that and see where it leads. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to stay kind and meaningful in your own beautiful journey. See you in the next one. Ciao.